A day before I met Hafsatu Umar, her family had told me that she had developed some psychological problems. I spent that night agonizing over what it could potentially mean to interview a person with mental health issues, how delicately the matter needed to be handled, how important it was that I not re-traumatize her. I had written about Amir, her son, a couple of months ago, how he was 3 years old when his mother was taken away by the Nigerian army on account of her husband, who had been accused of being a Boko Haram member. The accusation was on the basis that he had been seen attending some of the group's sermons during its early non-violent days. Amir had spent the past decade at an orphanage in Adamawa State before finally being reunited with his grandmother. He's a beautiful, respectful boy, and his story is special. HumAngle reached out to the army in April with details of the circumstances of his mother's detention, asking of her status. Though they did not respond, she was released 3 months later. When I eventually met Hafsatu 2 months after she was released, we sat in a darkly lit room. She was warm but reserved. It took her some time to understand my questions and even more time to respond. She sometimes zoned out, staring into space. As you can see in these photos, she was mostly unsmiling. I say this to emphasize how conquered she seems now, and the extent of the transformation that comes over her once her son comes into the room. She brightens immediately. Her voice sounds stronger, higher, and she stares at him a lot. They laugh, they joke, they hold each other. She even kisses him on the cheek. We show you these to illustrate the extent of what has been taken from Hafsatu in the past 11 years, how much of her son's growth and development she has missed out on, and what that does to a mother's heart. As you can see in many of these photos, her eyes are closed or squinted when we're outside. It is because she has not been able to get used to light after being in isolation for over a decade. Hafsatu is back, and that is joyful. But what will her life look like in the coming years? Right now, she is trying to relearn freedom, what to do with it, how to interact with it. She forgets to leave the room for days. She stares at the huge bosses in Maiduguri, and her legs hurt all the time. But at least she is home. That means something.